السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
If Abu Yusuf is not able to join, Abu Yusuf is not able to join.
He's online, sir. He's online.
Okay. We can go on, Abi.
Yes, sir.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. أما بعد, today inshallah, because we are very very close to Ramadan, today is the 20 what in Nigeria? Today is the 28th day of Sha'ban. Today is the 28th day of Sha'ban, 1442, here in Nigeria, according to the authorities. According to the authorities here in Nigeria, today is the 28th day of Sha'ban. So tomorrow, Monday, inshallah, will be the 29th day of Sha'ban. So, if the moon is sighted and the authorities announce that we commence Ramadan, we may commence Ramadan on Tuesday, which will make the first of Ramadan. Today is 28th of Sha'ban. So if the moon is sighted tomorrow, Monday, in the evening, it's because the day actually starts from the evening. From Ghurūb al-Shams, another day has started. Ghurūb al-Shams, the time we make Salatul Maghrib, another day has started. A day that I mean, a day that comprises of a night and daytime. So the night comes before the day. This is the widely accepted view amongst the ulama. The night comes before the day. And one of the evidence for that is what we are seeing now. Once the moon is sighted, Ramadan comes in. A new month is started because a new day is started. So a new day is started at sunset. Once the sun sets, a new day comes in. And that is around when the moon becomes sighted. So a new month starts because a new day starts. So if during the daytime of Monday, because we are actually going to start the daytime of Monday later today, from about 7 p.m. today, the night time of Monday will have started. So by the morning, by this time, Fajr, tomorrow we are in the daytime of Monday. So by Maghrib tomorrow, we are in the night time of Tuesday as far as the Sharia is concerned. So the new moon may be announced if the moon is sighted by the authorities in charge. We are coming back to that inshallah. So the new moon to commence Ramadan will be sighted, that is the Hilal, the Christians. It will be sighted and announced to us by the authorities. I say again, by the authorities, not you and I, because we are not the authorities in charge of that. We are coming back to that inshallah. When we discuss how does the Sharia tell us to start Ramadan? So we come back to it. So by the evening of Monday, tomorrow, by 7 p.m. for example, let's say sunset comes at 7 p.m., around 7 p.m. It's usually from 6:45 and above. The sun becomes set here, where this city where I live, from about 6:45, 6:50, there's practical sunset. So Maghrib starts around then. So from then, the authorities will start working on telling us before the next morning whether Ramadan will commence or not if the moon collecting results of fighting before the time. So they'll be busy with that and will be waiting for them to announce to us to commence Ramadan. If the moon is not fighting, then the entirety of Tuesday is going to be the 30th day of Sha'ban. The Tuesday will be the 30th day of Sha'ban, meaning that by the Maghrib time of Tuesday, we would have started the month of Ramadan. By the time of Ghurub al-Shams on Tuesday, Ramadan will definitely have started. So you see, many of us now who would have been preparing for this time, our minds and our attention should necessarily by now be directed towards starting Ramadan and embracing the various virtues, the excellence, the tremendous rewards that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has placed in this blessed month, in this gracious month of Ramadan, in this Shahrun Mubarakun, like the Prophet said alayhi salatu wa salam. Yesterday when we introduced this class about preparing for Ramadan, I was telling us that one of the biggest blessings in the month of Ramadan is the fact that the Quran was revealed to mankind, was revealed in the month of Ramadan. The Quran came down in the month of Ramadan, and that was clear in the Quran. In about 3 places in the Quran, Allah mentioned that. The closest and the most read to us is the one we read in Surah Al-Qadr. Inna anzalnahu fi anzalnahu. We have revealed it. We have sent it down fi laylatil qadr. So that occurs, that sending down of the Quran occurs in the month of Ramadan fi laylatil qadr. At laylatil qadr. So the Quran came down from Lawh al-Mahfuz to Bayt al-Izzah in the nearest heaven to us in the month of Ramadan. Jumlatan wahidatan. It came once as a whole book. The Quran descended as a whole book from Lawh al-Mahfuz. It was brought down to Bayt al-Izzah. And that's why when you hear how that the Quran was now revealed to the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam in 23 years as it says in Surah Al-Isra, وَقُرْآنًا فَرَقْنَاهُ لِتَقْرَأَهُ عَلَى النَّاسِ عَلَى مُكْثٍ. This is talking about the coming down of the Quran to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the coming down of the Quran has 2 stages. The first stage of it coming from the Lawh al-Mahfuz up to down to the Bayt al-Izzah in the first heaven. And then the second coming down of the Quran is what comes down in beats from from Bayt al-Izzah, from Jibreel to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam in an authentic hadith makes us understand that Suhfu Ibrāhīm was also revealed to Ibrāhīm alayhi salam in the month of Ramadan. And the Suhfu Ibrāhīm was also revealed to Ibrāhīm in the month of Ramadan. So the Prophet said sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam told us about the past books that were revealed in the month of Ramadan. So one of the biggest lessons in the month of Ramadan is that the book of guidance for mankind, Hudan Linnas, like the Quran says, Shahru Ramadan alladhi unzila fihi al-Quran. The month, this month of Ramadan, the month in which unzila fihi al-Quran, the Quran was sent down. This Quran was sent down for what? Hudan Linnas, as a means of guidance for mankind. وَبَيِّنَاتٍ مِنَ الْهُدَى وَالْفُرْقَانِ. And something that is clear-cut, a criterion for them to distinguish between what is good and what is bad. If you want to know what is good, check the Quran. If you want to know what is bad, the Quran will point to it. This and this and this are bad. If you want to know what is good, the Quran will tell you about them. This and this and this are good. That's why the major benefit of having the Quran sent down to us is that we employ the Quran. We take to the Quran as a book of guidance. at the beginning of Al-Baqarah, when it says Alif Lam Mim, what did he say? ذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين. لذلك الكتاب لا ريب فيه. This Quran is a book لا ريب فيه. It does not contain doubts at all. Its verses are clear. أحكمت آياته ثم فصلت من لدن حكيم خبير. أحكمت آياته. The verses of the Quran are clear. ثم فصلت. And then they were explained to us. من لدن حكيم خبير. In two ways, explained by the Quran itself or explained by the Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam. That's why the explanations of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his sunnah, they take the ruling of the Quran itself because they are from revelations from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the Quran is clear. La rayba fihi. There is no doubt regarding it. And then it says, this Quran again is what? Hudan lil muttaqin. Is the means of guidance for those who are consciously fearful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is a major virtue in this month, that the month in which mankind, in which we, our book, that will be a means of guidance for us for the entirety of our life, was sent down to us in the month of Ramadan. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu, also from the virtues of Ramadan, reported a hadith. This hadith has about 9 blessings, one single hadith, containing about 9 virtues of this month of Ramadan. 9 virtues of the month of Ramadan are contained in this single hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. We may quickly ask, we already know that Ramadan is a month of blessings. Why are we talking about it again? By way of reminding ourselves so that we renew our resolve to gaining from the tremendous blessings in this month of Ramadan. You know that you have a thing of virtue. You now go back to it to reorganize your mind. Remind yourself about the virtues and the rewards that are contained in the month of Ramadan. It makes the mind become alive. So the worship in the month will be a worship of Iman and Ihtisab, because you already reminded yourself of the virtue. A worship of Iman, because you'll be so convinced that Allah and believe that Allah has placed virtues in this month and has commanded that the fast be in this month. You'll be reminded of that. So it will enliven your worship. Your salah in Ramadan will be different from your salah outside Ramadan. You want to now do it better. You want to try to do it better. This zeal to get better by the day after day is what reminding ourselves about the virtue and the blessings of Ramadan will do to us. It will reorganize us. It will motivate us. It will reload us, as we say. It will re-energize us. It will give us another focus, even though we have a focus regarding what we like to gain in Ramadan. It will increase our faith. It will motivate good actions from us. It will help us fight against any sort of laziness that may be a drawback against us in this month of Ramadan. May Allah protect us from this evil. Because from the works of human beings are those to whom Ramadan comes. And when Ramadan goes away, they did not gain forgiveness from Allah. They are from the works of people. They are losers. In fact, Ibrāhīm alayhi salatu wasalam mentioned that may the dust be rubbed on their noses. May their noses be rubbed in the dust. The messenger said, Amin. The noses of those who Ramadan will come and then go, they did not gain forgiveness from Allah. May their noses be rubbed in the dust. That is, may they be disgraced. When again do you want to gain success? When? If not now, when? When do you want to run after success? If we don't run after success in Ramadan, if we don't run after blessings in Ramadan, if we don't run after forgiveness in Ramadan, when do we want to do that? So that's why when Ibrāhīm alayhi salam made that dua, also is from the hadith of Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu. The messenger said, Amin, and the correction is that this hadith is at least hasan in its ruling. So the hadith is a reliable proof that when Ramadan goes and an individual does not gain from its forgiveness and tremendous blessing, those are from the people of disgrace. So in this hadith of Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu, the actual of the hadith occurs in Sahih Muslim. But there are other ziyadah in other books of hadith, like in Sahih Ibn Khuzaymah, and in the books of Sunan, like Sunan al-Nasai, by Imām al-Nasai. Put all these reports together is what I'll read to us. Abu Hurairah radiyallahu anhu said, إذا كان أول ليلة من رمضان إذا كان أول ليلة من رمضان قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم أتاكم رمضان شهر مبارك أتاكم رمضان شهر مبارك. Abu Hurairah رضي الله عنه said إذا كان أول ليلة من رمضان قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم, when the night, on the fourth night of Ramadan. So in our own circumstance, the fourth night when it will be announced to us that Ramadan has started, what should we say? The Messenger alayhi salatu wasalam will say to the people, Ataakum Ramadan. In another report it says, Ja'akum Ramadan Shahrun Mubarakun. He would congratulate the companions. It means from the sunnah of welcoming Ramadan is that very night of Ramadan we should extend greetings of congratulations to each and every one of us. Ataakum Ramadan Shahrun Mubarakun. The Messenger didn't say Ramadan Kareem. He said Shahrun, it is a month Mubarakun, that is blessed. So Ramadan is Mubarak. What is common people say is Ramadan Kareem. That is the greeting that they say. But the greeting the Messenger will extend alayhi salatu wasalam, as Ramadan mentioned as what? Shahrun Mubarakun. The Prophet will say sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Ataakum Ramadan Shahrun Mubarakun. And when does he begin to say that? From Awwal Laylatin in Ramadan. The Prophet began to say that from the very first night of Ramadan. So let us employ this practice to Bismillah, either by tomorrow evening or by the evening of the next Tuesday. Let us be sure that we send messages, we call the people to congratulate them about the emergence, the coming of Ramadan, because the Messenger alayhi salatu wassalam, إذا كان أول ليلة من رمضان, when the night, on the night, the first night, in the night of Ramadan, he will say alayhi salatu wassalam, جاءكم رمضان or أتاكم رمضان. They mean the same thing. جاءكم رمضان. Ramadan has come unto you. شهر مبارك. A very, very blessed month. A hugely blessed month of Ramadan has come unto you. And then he says, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, counting the blessings in the month of Ramadan, directing our attention to those blessings. What are the things that make Ramadan Shahrul Mubarak? The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, faradallahu alaykum siyamahu. So the first blessing in the month of Ramadan, the Prophet counted, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, in this hadith, is that faradallahu alaykum siyamahu. Allah in this month makes the fasting in it compulsory on you. Allah has obligated you to fast in this month of Ramadan. Allah has ordained you to fast in this entire month of Ramadan. It is شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن وهدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. What did he say after that? فمن شهد منكم الشهر فليصمه. This is the obligation of Ramadan. من شهد منكم الشهر. Whoever amongst you becomes fortunate to witness that month. I say becomes fortunate. By this time last year, we know some of the people that we observed Ramadan together. But here we are. They have passed away. We have many of our brothers We have many of our sisters who have passed away between the last Ramadan and this Ramadan. So the Quran says, whoever becomes alive, whoever is alive, man shahida minkum ash-shahr, whoever witnesses that month, falyasumhu, let him therefore, for witnessing the month, fast in that month of Ramadan. So the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, faradallahu alaykum siyamahu. This is the first lesson in this hadith. Ataakum Ramadhan shahrun mubarakun. Faradallahu alaykum siyamahu. Secondly, he said, suffidat wa suffidat fihi ash-shayatinu maradatul jinn. He says, wa suffidat fihi ash-shayatin. The second blessing in the month of Ramadan, as is contained in this hadith of Abu Hurairah, suffidat fihi ash-shayatin. The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, the shayateen, the evil ones amongst the jinn. That's why he gave us a tafsiriyya, maradatul jinn, the wicked ones amongst the jinn. They are the shayateen, suffidat, who will be tied and chained in the month of Ramadan. So let us note this point. The evil shayateen, the afarit, they are tied down, they are chained down in this blessed month of Ramadan. And one of the blessings of that is that you find that evil will reduce in the month of Ramadan. Evil will reduce in the month of Ramadan. Why? Maradatul jinn, the wicked ones amongst the jinn, they have been tied down. And evil may still be seen because that means there are some others amongst the jinns who walk around. Perhaps the Muslims amongst them. Perhaps the weak Muslims amongst them. You see them walk around. One of the scholars say if we interpret that that the shayateen, the jinns, the satans will be tied down, to mean all the satans will be tied down. But this is not what this hadith indicates. Because it says that the shayateen, maradatul jinn. The shayateen will be chained. Who are those who will be chained amongst them? Maradatul jinn. Those the wicked ones amongst the jinns. He said, even if you say all the jinns are tied, if you take the riwayat that does not have maradatul jinn, that does not have an indication that the jinns that are tied are the wicked ones amongst them. If you take it that the jinns are generally tied down, it means the Shaykh says that even the shayateen, Iblis and all of that, they have evils that they have prepared before the month. They will leave it to spread in that month. So even if they are not moving all around to spread the evil, they will allow the evil to spread in the month. They are already prepared an evil that will spread in that month. One of the scholars said that's why you see some people, they would have made a lot of cocoa-prayers, they would have made a lot of things, they would have made a lot of evil actions and all this, that they will release in the month of Ramadan. They would have recorded them, they would have prepared them, and then you release them in the month of Ramadan. But what is correct, and Allah knows best, is that those who are changed down in the month of Ramadan are what? Maradatul jinn, the wicked ones amongst the jinn. They are the ones that are tied down, so that people, more and more people have the more opportunity for goodness in the month of Ramadan. The third virtue the messenger mentioned in this hadith says, وَغُلِّقَتْ أَبْوَابُ النِّيرَانِ. Look at this. غُلِّقَتْ أَبْوَابُ النِّيرَانِ فَلَمْ تُفْتَحْ مِنْهَا بَابٌ. غُلِّقَتْ أَبْوَابُ النِّيرَانِ. The doors of the fire, غُلِّقَتْ, they will be completely closed. They will be completely locked. غُلِّقَتْ. The doors of an-niran will be locked. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, فَلَمْ تُفْتَحْ مِنْهَا بَابٌ. No single from the 7 doors of Jahannam, because the Jahannam has 7 doors. No one of them will be opened in the month of Ramadan, so that it's a means of goodness. Hold back evil, hold back whatever, hold back any kind of distastefulness for mankind. So all that is opened unto us is the mercy of Allah and the ability to be upon goodness. So he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, غُلِّقَتْ أَبْوَابُ النِّيرَانِ. The doors of the fire will be locked completely. فَلَمْ تُفْتَحْ مِنْهَا بَابٌ. No door will be opened from it. The first one, he said, alayhi salatu wassalam, وَفُتِّحَتْ أَبْوَابُ الْجِنَانِ فُتِّحَتْ أَبْوَابُ الْجِنَانِ فَلَمْ يُغْلَقْ مِنْهَا بَابٌ فَلَمْ يُغْلَقْ مِنْهَا بَابٌ فُتِّحَتْ أَبْوَابُ الْجِنَانِ. Likewise, the doors of Al-Jannah will be made wide open. The mercy of Allah comes unto us, comes unto mankind. فُتِّحَتْ أَبْوَابُ الْجِنَانِ فَلَمْ يُغْلَقْ مِنْهَا بَابٌ. So none of the 8 doors, because the Jannah is made up of how many doors? 8. None of the 8 doors of Al-Jannah will be closed. That is the 4th blessing in this single hadith that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioned about the month of Ramadan. The 5th point of virtue he mentioned alayhi salatu wasalam. He says, لِلَّهِ فِيهِ لَيْلَةٌ لِلَّهِ فِيهِ لَيْلَةٌ خَيْرٌ مِّنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ. Allah has a night in this month of Ramadan, خَيْرٌ مِّنْ أَلْفِ شَهْرٍ. This night is better than 1,000 months. Of course, we all know that is what Laylatul Qadr. Laylatul Qadr is better than how many months? Khayrun min alfi shahr. That is clearly mentioned in the Quran. Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alfi shahr. Meaning that from the blessings of the month of Ramadan, it's what the Messenger said, alayhi salatu wassalam, Lillahi fihi laylatun khayrun min alfi shahr. Allah has a night in it that is better than, more virtuous in what it contains than 1,000 months. He said, تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ فِيهَا. The Malaika and Jibreel, they will descend in that night. تَنَزَّلُ الْمَلَائِكَةُ وَالرُّوحُ فِيهَا. لماذا؟ بإذن ربهم من كل أمر. They will bring a lot of the affairs of the people to the surface of the earth. They will bring the affairs of the people to the surface of the earth. This one will gain this one. This one will gain this. This one will have this. This one will have this. This one will be protected from this. This one will be protected from this image. This one will be protected from this image. So goodness will reach this one. So goodness will reach this one. They will bring this to the surface of the earth at Laylatul Qadr. So the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, that we all should be engaged in full worship in that month, in that day and night, but in the last 10 days of Ramadan. But in this hadith he says, Man hurrima khayraha, faqad hurrima. Man hurrima khayraha. Whoever becomes bereft, whoever becomes unfortunate not to gain from the goodness in that night, Laylatul Qadr, faqad hurrima. He has so much he has been deprived. Whoever is deprived, man hurrima khayraha, whoever is deprived of the goodness in that night of Laylatul Qadr, faqad hurrima. He has really been deprived. Whoever is deprived of the goodness in the night of Ramadan, faqad hurrima. May Allah protect us from this. Some of the people will be sleeping, eating, and all of these in the night of Laylatul Qadr, the last 10 days of Ramadan, and then they miss this night. May Allah protect us from evil. The 6th thing the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, regarding the month of Ramadan, in this single hadith, he says, وَنَادَى مُنَادٍ. A caller will be calling. Some of the scholars like Al-Imām Ibn Khuzaymah, he said the caller who would call would be an angel. He would be calling out saying, Ya Baghi al-Khair, Ya Baghi al-Khair, Aqbil. O craver, O desirous person of goodness, O person, O you who is desirous of goodness, Aqbil. Come on, do goodness, your family. Come on, do goodness. Continue to do good. All people who want goodness, continue your goodness. Come on, Aqbil. proceed, advance, continue. Continue with the goodness. Continue with the goodness. The angels will be calling. These are the things that we should have in our mind in this month of Ramadan. So, oh brother, oh sister, oh little teenager and our children, all of us should have it in mind that on every night in the month of Ramadan, that scholar goes on to call. You who want to do goodness, continue, continue, continue. And then he goes on to say also, وَيَا بَاغِيَ الشَّرِّ أَقْصِرْ. Oh, you who want to do evil, reduce your evil. Reduce your evil. Reduce your evil. We must have this inside our mind. Even though we don't have it heard by our ears, we should know that that call, that invitation continues. And as Muslims, we should set our minds to it, that we are invited to goodness. So no goodness is small. And no goodness is too much. No goodness is small. And no goodness is too much. Everybody should make haste to earn as much good in this month of Ramadan as possible. The Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Yunaji munaji, Ya baghi al-khair aqbil, wa ya baghi al-sharri aqfir. All you who want to do goodness, aqbil, proceed, advance, continue. Multiply your good deeds. So if you intended that in this month of Ramadan, I'm going to look for 50 people to feed poor people who can't afford to fast correctly, that is eat their sahur and stuff. I'm going to provide 50. That's your intention. You can increase it every day by 10. You can increase it every day. Why? There's a caller calling you, do more. Do more. If you have intended to read one juz of Quran every day, you can read 5 ajza. Why? There's a caller saying, do more, do more, do more. If you want to stay 30 minutes on every rak'ah, you want to make in Ramadan 30 minutes on every rak'ah, start planning to do more in Ramadan. Ya baghi al-khair aqbil. O you who is desirous of goodness, proceed, advance with your goodness. And you who is desirous of evil, may Allah protect all of you. The Prophet said the caller will be saying, Aqsir, reduce your evil, Lord. Reduce your evil. The seventh benefit the Prophet mentioned in one single hadith after he told us that Ataakum Ramadan, Shahrul Mubarak. He started to count the barakat of this month. From the barakat of Ramadan is that وَلِلَّهِ فِيهِ أُتَقَاءُ وَلِلَّهِ فِيهِ عُتَقَاءٌ مِّنَ النَّارِ وَلِلَّهِ فِيهِ عُتَقَاءٌ مِّنَ النَّارِ. And in every night, in every night of Ramadan, Allah frees some people from the fire of Jahannam. You would have entered Jahannam. I free you. You could have entered Jahannam. I free you. This will happen on every night in Ramadan, not just on the last 10 days. The last 10 days of Ramadan, you hear the Ahimma when they make dua and all of this, when they make kunut, they say that Allah should make us from those who be free from. That is not restricted to that time. There are clear-cut narrations from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that occurs. He says, وَذَلِكَ فِي كُلِّ لَيْلَةٍ. That the fact that Allah will be freeing from people, you are free, you would have entered Jahannam, but I free you. You would have been in Jahannam, I free you, I free you, I free you. So you see people turning 180 degrees. They've been upon evil, because that's the implication. You see them turning for goodness. And you see people begin to say that because in Ramadan, I just thought that I have to stop drinking alcohol. So in Ramadan, I just thought that I have to stop smoking. So in Ramadan, he thought that he has to stop lying. He stops not being responsible at home to his wife because this is part of his sin. Many of the people will be changing their ways. The things they've been doing that could bring them to the Jahannam, you see them declaring that they change in the month of Ramadan when Allah declares them free from the fire of Jahannam. We beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to protect us from the fire of Jahannam. So these are 7 virtues the Prophet mentioned alayhi salatu wasalam in one single hadith regarding the month of Ramadan. that will make us understand that that month is really truly blessed, like he says. He would say at the beginning of Ramadan, Ataakum Ramadan, Shahrun Mubarakun. Ramadan, the blessed month, the month of blessings, Ataakum, has come unto you. And then he began to count the blessings. In this hadith, we mentioned 7 of these blessings in one single hadith. When there are other benefits of the month of Ramadan. There are other benefits in the month of Ramadan. So as we prepare, we buy food for iftar and sahur, prepare your minds to gain goodness. Prepare your minds to be full of food worship in this blessed month of Ramadan. Prepare your mind for a lot of istighfar. Prepare your mind for a lot of adhkar. Prepare your mind for a lot of tilawatul Quran. Prepare your mind for a lot of listening to mawa'id and durus. Mawa'id, sermons, admonitions, and durus and practice that are beneficial upon the sunnah. Because it is still in the month of Ramadan, you see some particular innovations also spreading innovation. In the name of spreading mawa'id. They spread evil rather. May Allah protect us from this. So be sure that when you want to listen to sermons, you listen to the sermon of those who are not sick, those who are well. Because if you listen to the sermon of a sick person, your religion will become sick too. May Allah protect us. Look for the people of Sunnah to listen to them. When you hear somebody saying the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Abu Hurairah said, radiyallahu anhu, Abdullah ibn Umar said, radiyallahu anhu, the Quran says, and Allah says in the Quran, Surah Kada, you should know that you have somebody who is well, who is not sick. But when you start hearing, the man who is singing, the person is singer, the poet started saying, they started singing, they started shouting, and all of these, you should know that you are listening to the sermon of the person who is sick. If you follow him, your religion too will become sick. And you will not gain anything from Ramadan except what? Sickness. May Allah protect us from this evil. Because we see it happening is the reason we have to warn against it. Now we quickly move to other things. How do we know how to start Ramadan? Islam taught us, and there are 2 ways to start Ramadan. The first one is what? Through Ru'yatul Hilal. The moon was sighted, and it told to us by the authorities. The Christians have started. Start fasting. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, one of the best hadiths that you can imagine. Because that hadith was reported by Imām Malik. And it was reported by Imām Malik from his teacher, Nāsir. And it was reported from Nāsir. Nāsir reported it from who? Abdullah ibn Umar. And the Prophet said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, لَا تَصُومُوا حَتَّى تَرَوْا لَا تَصُومُوا حَتَّى تَرَوْا الْهِلَالِ. Don't start fasting until you sight the moon. This means sighting the moon is the way to start fasting. As the moon is sighted, taraw, ru'ya, until you see, until you, my ummah, one of you, 2 of you, all of you see the moon. When you see the moon, start fasting. So if you ask us, how do we start Ramadan? We start Ramadan when the moon is seen, when we see the crescent. La tasumu hatta tarawih hilal. The Prophet prohibited us from fasting until the moon is sighted. وَلَا تُفْتِرُوا حَتَّى تَرَوْا. Likewise, la taftiru. Don't stop fasting until you sight the moon also. Don't make it stop. La tuftiru. Don't make it stop until you sight the moon. When you sight the moon, make it stop. This hadith is the hadith of Abdullah ibn Umar. So this is the first way to start Ramadan. The second way to start Ramadan, he told us, فَإِنْ قُمَّ عَلَيْكُمْ فَإِنْ قُبِّيَ عَلَيْكُمْ فَإِنْ أُغْنِيَ عَلَيْكُمْ. A lot of alfaz, but all meaning the same thing. If something like the cloudiness comes in between you and sighting the crescent, it is فَأَكْمِلُوا الْعِدَّةَ ثَلَاثِينَ يَوْمًا. Count Sha'ban to be what? 30 days. So we are either starting fast by that. Oh, on the 29th, like tomorrow, Monday, moon has been sighted, so let's start fast. Or that the moon will not be sighted, and the month will complete 30, so that on Monday, on Tuesday, so that we can start fasting on Wednesday. So fasting either starts on Tuesday if the moon is sighted, or it starts on Wednesday if the moon is not sighted. And we have to count Sha'ban to be 30 days. So two ways to start fasting, either by moon sighting or by counting Sha'ban to be 30. So these are the ways that the Sharia has told us to fast the month of Ramadan, and those are the evidences for it. And what does fasting itself mean? Fasting is an impartial type of terror, holding back from the things that will break our fast. From Tulu al-Fajr towards Guru Bisham. From Tulu al-Fajr, you hold back. From the time when the Fajr breaks, al-Fajr al-Sadiq, the true Fajr, the true dawn, when it breaks, you hold back from muftirat. You hold back from the things that break the fast of an individual. What are they? They are 6 in number. 6 things break our fast. When any one of these 6 happens to an individual, the fast is broken. The first one is what? Fast. Eating food. When you eat food, the fast is broken. So you don't eat. Fasting is not to eat. Likewise, not to drink. That is the second. Don't eat food. Don't drink. Don't drink water. Don't drink juice. All that you drink to enjoy. All that you drink to keep yourself. Don't drink them. Don't drink water or anything. Drinking something. Likewise, eating something. These 2 things break the fast of an individual. The third one is al-jima. Conjugal relations with your spouses. No wife should have a conjugal relation with her husband. No husband should have conjugal relations with the wife. Conjugal relation, I mean actual sexual intercourse. This thing breaks the fast. So 3 things. What are that thing breaks the fast? Al-Qayr Amdan. When a person deliberately provokes a vomit, if you deliberately provoke a vomit and you vomit, your fast becomes broken. Deflated. So what will you do? You are going to fast in the coming year. You are going to fast before the coming year. After that Ramadan. When this Ramadan ends, you fast one day to pay back. You are going to make Abdur-Raūf. You are going to pay back if you do so. Pay back that day of fast that you have missed as a result of provoking what? Vomit. The other 2 things that break the fast are nifas and haid. A woman may be fasting when she's pregnant. Please permit me to say that. A woman may be fasting even though she's pregnant. So when she delivers on the day that she delivers, and nifas emerges, the blood connected to delivery, because that is the meaning of nifas. The blood that emerges from a woman during delivery, shortly before and shortly after. This blood is called, and during, of course, this blood is called nifas. When she goes into nifas, if she was fasting, the fasting stops. And she stops to fast. So a nifas, for a fasting person, breaks the fast. Likewise, haid. So haid, a woman was fasting from the morning. In the afternoon, she becomes menstruating. She stops the fast. So these are the 6 things that break the fast. Food, drink, jima, then nifas, haid, and deliberately provoking a vomit. These are the 6 things that break the fast. So you hold back from these 6 things from Tulu al-Fajr, from the time of the true dawn, ila Guru Bisham, until the time that the sun sets. You hold back from these things. You hold back from eating. You hold back from drinking. You hold back from having sexual intercourse with your husband or wife. And then you hold back from provoking a vomit. Then you don't do what? Menstruate or become in the state of nifas. These 2 are not things that you do by yourself. They happen to a woman. They happen to a woman. But you should know that when those things happen, her fast becomes deflated for that day. And she has to make up for that fast after that month. I hope that this is also clear to us. Because I had mentioned a pregnant woman. Let me also mention a woman that is breastfeeding. And unfortunately, in the last few I think I heard the audio about 2 weeks ago. An audio went round also from one of the learned people. I think that must be said. If you have a different opinion from somebody, it does not mean that the person is not learned. Appreciate his knowledge. The person in the audio is a very learned person, one of our most learned persons in our country. So you cannot deny the fact that the person is knowledgeable. But it is not from the conditions of being knowledgeable that you are correct in every situation, in every time. In fact, the scholars say that one of the things by which you know a learned person is that he will err too. The one who does not err is claiming to be other than what he is, because Allah has not created a human being who does not err. So one of our learned elders in our country gave an audio recently about the ruling about a woman who is pregnant and a woman who is breastfeeding. And he was wrong. May Allah protect him and all of us. He was wrong in that ruling. He was wrong in the ruling. And many of the people were not comfortable with the expressions that were employed while affirming the position that he held. He employed expressions that may not have been employed. May Allah forgive all of us and him too. Hafizahullah. He had a view, and that view he gave is the view of Jumhur ulama, the view of many of the scholars. But it is a weaker view amongst the views. It's a weaker view. He presented it as the only correct view, but that's a wrong view. It is not the only correct view. That view is not the only view amongst the scholars. There are other views regarding it. Any of the books of fiqh. He said if you read any of the books of fiqh, this is the opinion that you see here. They say that's the opinion of the Jumhur. But they will tell you there are other opinions. The opinion of the Jumhur, yes, but they will tell you that there are other opinions. If you go to Al-Mughni by Imām Ibn Qudama, is one of the biggest books of fiqh in the madhab of Imām Ahmad ibn Hanbal. You see this opinion there. This Shaykh we are talking about, he also cited Shaykh al-Mufrad by Shaykh Muhammad ibn Ismāīl al-Uthaymeen. This other opinion we want to mention now that we consider correct and Allah knows best was also mentioning that. But he was mentioning it as if it's a strange opinion that's not known from anywhere, from anybody, and it was imported into Nigeria. Everybody who is a student of knowledge who has Al-Mughni has also imported the opinion. It also occurs in Al-Istizkar by Imām Ibn Abdul-Barr al-Namri. Al-Istizkar is a big book of Sunnah by Ibn Abdul-Barr. Ibn Abdul-Barr, rahimahullah, is a late 3rd century scholar of Islam. And he has that view. And he was ascribing the view to the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But in that audio, the Shaykh Hafizahullah was mentioning as if that opinion is strange. It is not a strange opinion. It is the opinion of the companions. And it occurs in the books of fiqh. What is that opinion? The opinion is that a woman who is pregnant or a woman who is breastfeeding, if pregnancy and breastfeeding becomes inconvenient for them in the month of Ramadan, if breastfeeding and the pregnancy becomes a means of discomfort for them, so much that it could cause them harm, either to them or to their children, in the month of Ramadan, they are allowed to break the fast. They will not fast. And they will feed a fasting person for every day of fast alone, without paying back the fast after Ramadan. This view that we hold to be correct, that is the view of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. And it is sufficient. If you say a view is wrong, and we are saying that that view is the view of the companions, should we leave the companions and follow you, no matter how knowledgeable you may be? Cannot follow you, we follow the companions. Radiyallahu anhum. And that is the way of the early Muslims. So Abdullah ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhu was the first person that was mentioned. And he said, radiyallahu anhu, that إِذَا خَافَتِ الْحَامِلُ عَلَى نَفْسِهَا, when a pregnant woman becomes fearful for herself in the month of Ramadan, وَالْمُرْضِعُ عَلَى وَلَدِهَا, and the woman who is breastfeeding, she becomes fearful for her child in the month of Ramadan. That is, the woman who is pregnant begins to fear that fasting the month of Ramadan may cause harm to me. The woman who is breastfeeding begins to fear for her child. Fasting in Ramadan may not make this child to have good food, may not make the child to have sufficient food to eat, sufficient breast milk to survive with in the month of Ramadan. When the woman who is breastfeeding begins to fear this, Abdullah ibn Abbas radiallahu anhu said, Yuftiran, the woman who is pregnant and the woman who is breastfeeding, he said, Yuftiran, the two of them will make iftar, that is, they will stop fasting, or that they will not fast on those days of Ramadan. وَيُطْعِمَانِ, and then they will feed some people. They will feed the طعام miskin. They will make fidya. It says فَفِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ miskin. They will make fidya to طعام miskin. They will look for poor persons in the month of Ramadan and feed them. They will feed them in the month of Ramadan. كُلَّ يَوْمٍ مِسْكِينًا. It is وَيُطْعِمَانِ مَكَانَ كُلِّ يَوْمٍ مِسْكِينًا. وَيُطْعِمَانِ مَكَانَ كُلِّ يَوْمٍ مِسْكِينًا. They will feed a poor person in place of every fasting day. He said, رَضِيَ اللَّهُ عَنْهُمَا وَلَا يَقُضِيَانِ صَوْمًا. Abdullah ibn Abbas said, وَلَا يَقُضِيَانِ. They will not make qada. But the doctor, Hafizahullah, when he made his assertion, he said, Abdullah ibn Abbas did not say that they will not make qada. This is a clear-cut riwayah from Abdullah ibn Abbas when he says, وَلَا يَقُضِيَانِ. They will not make qada, meaning that the woman who is breastfeeding, who fears that the child may not get sufficient milk, or the woman who is pregnant, who fears that the fasting may become a means of a big discomfort for her if she continues to fast. These two people, Yuftirat, Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiyallahu anhuma, wa huwa man huwa, radiyallahu anhuma. He said, Yuftirat. These two groups of people will make iftar. They will not fast on that day. وَيُطْعِمَانِ مَكَانَ كُلِّ يَوْمٍ مِسْكِينًا. And they will feed a miskin, a poor, needy person, مَكَانَ كُلِّ يَوْمٍ, in place of every day in the month of Ramadan. وَلَا يَقْضِيَانِ. Ibn Abbas said, رضي الله عنهما, وَلَا يَقْضِيَانِ صَوْمًا. They will not pay back those days after Ramadan. Also, this is one statement from Abdullah ibn Abbas. Abdullah ibn Abbas had a woman, a slave who was pregnant for him. You know, it's allowed for a Muslim to have malakat yaminu. A woman who is his slave, and he meets her. She could become pregnant and then have children for him. This woman asked Abdullah ibn Umar when she was pregnant about her condition. And he said, radiyallahu anhuma, anti bi manzilatil kabir. Abdullah ibn Abbas said that a woman who is pregnant, bi manzilatil kabir, la yutiqu siyam, is in the condition, in the position of an elderly person, male or female, who may not be able to fast. Abdullah ibn Abbas said, radiyallahu anhuma, that a woman who is pregnant, في منزلة الكبير الذي لا يطيق الصيام, is in the status of an elderly person who may not be able to fast. Abdullah ibn Abbas said so to his woman who was pregnant in the month of Ramadan. So he said, رضي الله عنهما, فأفطري, to make it off, break your fast. وأفطرني عن كل يوم, make it up. Feed a fasting person and كل يوم نصف صاع من شيطة. Make نصف صاع. نصف صاع. صاع is if you combine your hands 4 times. That's a full صاع. We discussed this on the issues of zakat al-fitr. Half of that, meaning 2 handfuls, 2 double handfuls. So he's also telling her what she will provide. So Ibn Abbas's fatwa to his household is that a woman who is pregnant, she will make a sauce and she will make a fa'amu miskin. This is the second statement from Abdullah ibn Abbas. There are others. That is why if we go to Al-Istizkar, by Al-Imam Ibn Abdul Barr. Ibn Abdul Barr al-Namri is a 3rd century scholar of Islam, one of the biggest people in the madhab of Al-Imam Malik, rahimahullah. Al-Imam Abu Umar Ibn Abdul Barr al-Namri, rahimahullah. He says, Rawahu an Ibn Abbas. Before that, he says, Qala Ishaq ibn Rahwayh. Ishaq ibn Rahwayh is the teacher of Al-Imam Al-Bukhāri. It is in the status of the likes of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. Ishaq ibn Ibrāhīm al-Hanbali ibn Rahwayh, rahimahullah. It's in the status of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. He's a big scholar of Sunnah, a big scholar of Hadith and Fiqh. He says, وَالَّذِي أَذْهَبُ إِلَيْهِ فِي الْحَامِلِ. What I view, what I consider appropriate regarding a woman who is pregnant, وَالْمُرْضِعِ, and a woman who is breastfeeding herself, is that, and these people should not fast. They should break their fast in the month of Ramadan. وَيُطْعِمَا, and they will feed a fasting person in the month of Ramadan. Ishaq ibn Ibrāhīm ibn Rahwayh, rahimahullah, he says, وَلَا قَضَاءَ عَلَيْهِمَا. There is no qadā'u alayhima. So the position of Ishaq ibn Ibrāhīm also ibn Rahwayh is that la qadā'a alayhima. They will not make qadā. They will not pay back that fast after Ramadan. At-Tibyān Ibn Abbas wa Ibn Umar, by way of following Ibn Abbas. Because the doctor gave a view as if to say that Ibn Abbas is saying that the women who are fasting, the women who are not fasting, who are pregnant and carrying the children should pay back if they make fidya, or that at least they should pay back after Ramadan because they have the ability. They are like the sick person or the person upon a journey. We read the statement of Ibn Abbas that a woman who is pregnant is like Al-Kabir. Ibn Abbas makes us understand the view of Abdullah ibn Abbas, and that is better for us. Abdullah ibn Abbas considers a woman who is pregnant or a woman who is carrying a baby to be in the status of a woman or a man who is of old age. That is the fiqh of Abdullah ibn Abbas, radiyallahu anhuma, and that is the fatwa of Abdullah ibn Abbas. And when he explained, وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُطِيقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ مِسْكِينٍ, he also he lined up the elderly males and the elderly females, the woman who is pregnant and the woman who is breastfeeding. He lined up these 4 together. So the view of Ibn Abbas is not that a woman should make qadā. The view of Ibn Abbas is that she should make fidya. She should fast. She should not fast in Ramadan. She should make fidya. That is upon the conditions that we had mentioned. She may break her fast in Ramadan. And then she may feed, and she will feed a fasting person in the month of Ramadan. وَلَا قَضَاءَ عَلَيْهَا. She will not have to pay back that fast after Ramadan. She will not have to pay back that fast after Ramadan. لَا قَضَاءَ عَلَيْهَا. After taking this view of Ishaq ibn Ibrāhīm ibn Rahwayh and ascribing it to Ibn Abbas and Abdullah ibn Umar, Al-Imam Ibn Abdul Barr said, Rawahu ibn Abdur-Raūf, Rawahu an Ibn Abbas, Rawahu an Ibn Abbas, Sa'id ibn Jubayr, wa Ata'u wa Ikrimah, Rawahu an Ibn Abbas. This view has been reported variously from Abdullah ibn Abbas. By who? Sa'id ibn Jubayr, one of the biggest students of Abdullah ibn Abbas. Wa Ata'u, Al-Imam Ata'u ibn Abi Rabah. He also reported this view from Abdullah ibn Abbas. Wa Ikrimah, Al-Imam Ikrimah al-Barbari, rahimahullah. He also reported it from Abdullah ibn Abbas. He said, rahimahullah, the Asani Dahistan. And these chains of report of this view from Ibn Abbas, they are authentic. That's what? Annahuma tuftiran. That a woman who is breastfeeding and a woman who is pregnant, tuftirani wa tut'imani, they will both not fast in the month of Ramadan upon the conditions that she has mentioned. When she fears for, the both of them fear for their children or themselves, they will make it start. But they will feed fasting persons, the two of them. It says, وَلَا قَضَاءَ عَلَيْهِمَا. There is no making qadā. To ascribe making qadā to Ibn Abbas is a strange view. To say that Ibn Abbas didn't mention it because you need that you will pay back the fast. It is not. The view of Ibn Abbas radiyallahu anhuma is that if a woman is pregnant or that a woman is breastfeeding, she should rather break her fast and feed the fasting person. وَلَا قَضَاءَ عَلَيْهِمَا. There is no qadā upon them. That's also the view of Abdullah ibn Umar. A woman came to Abdullah ibn Umar and asked radiallahu anhuma and asked regarding that. Nafi, the teacher of Al-Imam Malik, reported that the Kanat bintun ibn Umar, the daughter of Abdullah ibn Umar, tahta rajulin min Quraysh, who was a wife, the woman from amongst the Quraysh, was asking Ibn Umar, wa kanat hamila. That woman was pregnant. So فَأَصَابَهَا عَطَشٌ فِي رَمَضَانِ. She became very thirsty, seriously thirsty in the month of Ramadan. فَأَمَرَهَا Ibn Umar. Ibn Umar commanded his own daughter to do what? And to spare her. She should break her fast in the month of Ramadan. وَتُطْعِمَ عَنْ كُلِّ يَوْمٍ مِسْكِينًا. Then she should feed a poor person. Feed a poor person. Feed a poor person. Don't forget, not just feed somebody. Feed a poor person. That is the meaning of fidya. Allah explained it in the Quran. Fidyatun ta'amu miskin. It's a fidya is the provision of food for somebody who is needy, who is poor. Because it is not just about feeding somebody. Let's take note of it. Women, when we want to distribute food for our fidya, look for somebody who is poor. Look for somebody who is in the position of a needy. So this is the position of Abdullah ibn Abbas and Abdullah ibn Umar. And they were both explaining the verse, وَعَلَى الَّذِينَ يُتِقُونَهُ فِدْيَةٌ طَعَامُ مِسْكِينٍ. This position is the Allahu Alam, most correct of the views. Because these two companions, like Al-Imam Ibn Qudama said in Al-Mughni, we do not know any other companion who has a different view. Any other view regarding this matter is from lower than the companions. So the view of the companions, one of our teachers, specifically Shaykh Mashur Hassan al-Salman, he said this is also the view of Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari and Aisha radiallahu anha. I have not seen this after, but he mentioned it, Hafizahullah, that this view of Ibn Umar and Ibn Abbas is also the view of who? Jabir ibn Abdullah and our mother Aisha radiallahu anha. So I think that suffices for us. The time is past tense, but I think if it is just upon this that we can stop up over, it suffices for us. Ramadan is just by the way, by the corner. There will be subsequent programs where the issues of Ramadan will be discussed. I beg Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it beneficial to us all, to make us also people who will be successful, who will gain tremendous rewards in the month of Ramadan. I also appeal to us to give us another 10 minutes to take one or two questions regarding the issues that we have raised today. That will be going past the hour as we hardly. I am usually conscious of the time. So, but let's spend another 8 minutes. We are 2 minutes ahead of the hour now. We can spend the next 8 minutes to take questions quickly as Allah would permit. Inshallah, in the subsequent classes, we will also discuss other issues regarding the month of Ramadan. May Allah accept it all from us. Abu Yusuf.
Thank you, Dr. This one says, I do not have questions, rather I just want to pray that Allah continues to preserve our start upon goodness. Because regarding the fasting of a pregnant woman has really caused me a lot of discomfort. The audio really put us in a tight situation and can make one afford getting pregnant altogether. For the Now, the next question says, she was breastfeeding in Ramadan, and yet she couldn't afford to feed miskin. What's on that?
The one who can't afford to feed miskin, if it is really true that you can't afford to feed miskin, then la yukallifullahu nafsan illa wus'aha. Allah has not placed upon us a burden except the one that we can bear. The companion in the hadith of Abu Huraira who had an intercourse with his wife, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told him to free a slave. The messenger of Allah, free slave, I don't have a slave. So okay, feed 60 people. Fast 60. Say I can't fast 60. Free a slave, I don't have a slave. Okay, feed 60 people. Where will I find the money to feed? I can't feed 60 people. The Prophet remained silent. So he was not able to do it. The Prophet didn't tell him to do something. Rather, he was looking for ways of doing it. So a basket of dates was brought to the Prophet. I gave it to him. Go and distribute it among 60 persons. They asked, is there any person in Medina poorer than I am? So the Prophet said, okay, you take it. Feed yourself with it. So one of the fiqh of this hadith is that when he said he's not able to do it, the Prophet did not command him to do any other thing. He left him. So the one who is not able to fulfill the kafara or the fidya is not just able, practically not able to do so, then there's no blame on him on her. And don't forget, for married women, their duty is upon their husbands to do on their behalf. So if he's not able to do it, then he's not able to do it. Now, if you know a man and a woman who in their household, the woman should be feeding a fasting person, but they are not able to do it. This hadith of Abu Hurairah also shows that you can help them do it. A brother can help a family where there is a pregnant woman or a breastfeeding woman to fulfill these duties of the Sharia. That's clear from that hadith of Abu Hurairah. It also means that if the woman is not able, then there's nothing upon them. In fact, it may be that even that house itself, they will be needing the food. So if you want to help a woman who is breastfeeding or pregnant to pay her fidya, she may be the one to be eating. They or her husband may be the one to be eating from the fidya of the wife. There are people in these conditions. If we don't think that there are people in these conditions, then we have not known our own society very well. May Allah make it easy for us. If you can find a woman who is pregnant, a woman who is breastfeeding, and you know that she may not have what by which she will make fidya, you can provide her. You can provide her. And in fact, it may even be that her husband is the one who is eating that fidya. So, but a woman who doesn't have any ability at all, and she has not found anybody to help her out, then she should just remain. Allah has not burdened anyone beyond their abilities. Allahu Akbar. I hope that is clear. Ameen.
This one says, what is the implication of the doors of Jahannam being closed and the doors of Jannah being opened in the month of Ramadan? Does that mean that everybody that dies in Ramadan goes to paradise?
It has implications, but not necessarily what you have said at all. Not necessarily connected to what you have said at all. That the gates of Al-Jannah are open means that the mercy of Allah, because when the gates of Al-Jannah are open, nothing comes out of them except mercy and goodness. It's spread everywhere. Fortunately, Al-Jannah is up there to those the seven heavens. So it is there. From there, goodness is spread to every nook and cranny of creation. So that's one benefit of it. And that the gates of Jahannam are closed means that various kinds of evil and the anger of Allah, they are locked up. They are locked up. Things of punishment, things of evil, things of sadness, locked up. So we have the opportunity to do a lot of goodness. So, but to say, does it mean that if the person dies in Ramadan and goes to Al-Jannah? No, does not mean that. It means we have opportunity to raise and pursue Al-Jannah. And we have more opportunity to run away from Jahannam. We have more opportunities to raise towards Al-Jannah, the door is open. Come on. That's why the Munadi, Yunadi, the caller will be calling, Ya Baghi al-Khair Aqbil. All you who crave goodness, proceed, advance. Because when you advance and advance and advance with good deeds in the month of Ramadan, the gates of Al-Jannah are open to you. And then he says, Ya Baghi al-Shari Aqfir. You who want to do evil, reduce it. Why? The gates of the fire you will end if you proceed upon that are already closed. So don't worry yourself. Reduce your evil deeds. Then turn towards Al-Jannah. So these are the kinds of implications of the gates of Jahannam being closed and the gates of Al-Jannah being opened. And Allah knows this.
This one says, if I have not been fasting since morning, but in the afternoon I realize that I have not eaten anything, can I fast?
Yes, you can do so if the fast is not Ramadan. In Ramadan, you must determine by the night, every night, that I want to fast tomorrow. Renew it. Some of the scholars say if you have that intention from the beginning of fast, you may not need to be clearing your mind to decide that you want to fast. But the better thing for us is that on every night of Ramadan, before you sleep, desire and crave to fast Ramadan on the next day. So you follow the sunnah. We've not mentioned the adab of fasting, like eating sahur, like being hasty, being quick when you make it fast. So one of the adab of fasting is that you intend to fast on the next day. If it is Ramadan, our discussion is on Ramadan. The only place where you may not intend to fast, you are not just eating in the morning, and then you just say, let me just round it up and make it a fast. That is outside Ramadan. So that is for supererogatory fast. But in Ramadan, you must decide and intend to fast. Fast Ramadan. You must decide and intend to fast the obligatory fast of Ramadan. So I think that is the ruling regarding Ramadan. Allahu Akbar.
This one says, can I give non-Muslim food or drink during the day of Ramadan?
If the person is hungry and is not a Muslim, you can. I don't know anything that prohibits you. Allahu Akbar. I don't know anything that prohibits you to provide food for a poor person, needy person, who is a non-Muslim, the month of Ramadan. You can save that anyway for a fasting person. There is no poor Christian you want to provide food except that you find double the number of Muslims you can provide food. So that one will eat your food and then say that Jesus, thank you Jesus. Is that the one that you want to give the food? But this one who will take your food, make it store and then say Alhamdulillah is more preferable. So don't provide your food like that. You always have an alternative with a Muslim in the month of Ramadan. So this one can make us say, okay, I will wait till Iftar to provide the Muslim my food, the needy Muslim my food. And this is not issue of whether making fidya or not. Just by way of helping the poor. Look for the poor Muslim to help. Give your preference to the Muslim. So when you do that, it will make you not begin to prepare food in the afternoon of Ramadan for a non-Muslim. If you prepare food at all, it is for the Muslims who are perhaps not fasting. Maybe the sick persons, the elderly persons at home, the woman who is breastfeeding, the woman who is pregnant, or a traveling person. As for myself, when I travel, I don't joke with not fasting. I usually don't fast when I travel. That's why if you invite me to programs in Ramadan, I usually reject. Why? I like not to fast in Ramadan when I am traveling. We'll come back to that when we discuss the issues of traveling and fasting. I prefer the view that not to fast is stronger, is a better thing to do. Not to fast is a better thing to do. Why? Allah likes me to take that rukhsah. If He likes me to take the rukhsah, why do I reject taking the rukhsah? So I take the rukhsah. So if I'm visiting your house in the month of Ramadan, and I hardly do so, if I'm traveling for something in the month of Ramadan, I like to eat food, and I don't have any apologies regarding that because I base my actions also upon the deen. That's also from my religion. Anyway, if I come to your house, don't say you not cook for me in the afternoon of Ramadan. You are respecting Ramadan. Cook the food, I will eat it. So if there are people like this, let's cook for them. This weak Muslim, traveling Muslim, sick Muslim, pregnant Muslim woman, breastfeeding Muslim woman, elderly Muslim woman, or elderly Muslim man. Yes, do so. But for all others, it is better to keep up food. Even children, we should encourage them and reduce the cooking and provision of food for them in the month of Ramadan by way of encouraging them gradually to be able to fast. May Allah accept all these deeds from us. I think we can stop here at Yusuf. We'll continue with other discussions regarding fasting in subsequent classes. Perhaps this evening, in the evening class, we'll discuss other matters regarding the fasting of Ramadan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.